basically take your first step in tech, welcome to this session. Basically, you are in the what? You are in the right place. You've come to the right introductory to all of this, to attaining all of these things that what I have mentioned. So today we're going to pull back from our curtain on the normal topic on absolutely like the backbone of cybersecurity, the backbone of the digital world, not even only cybersecurity as a whole, like the backbone of everything basically, which is what networking. I mean, even in real life, we know that what networking like what goes into a long way in our daily activity. When you network with people, you tend to what get what more opportunities. You tend to what reach places you want to even faster. So we will explore like how to design like simple office network from scratch. We'll do thorough designing and what building of all of these networks. But just stick with me and I will put you through everything. So that's just what today we're going to be doing. So before I go further, I know some of you already know us, you know us briefly, or some of you have not heard of us at all. So this is why I'm here to answer the question, who are we? About Tenalytics, basically. So basically, at Tenalytics, we are like a leading educational technology company with a very simple mission that is to make technology what accessible to everyone. That's our mission, to make it accessible to everyone, regardless of your background, regardless of the sector you're coming from, where you're coming from, basically, no matter the location. That is our goal, to make technology what accessible to everyone. So over the past 5 years, we've helped over what 3,000 people transition what into what tech, that is getting their first job role in tech. So we do this by providing premium hands-on training on different variety of courses, high demand courses like what data analytics, cybersecurity, business analytics, data science, and so many more, even AI engineering. So this is what we do. And these are like the premium high content what programs that we offer here at data analytics to help you what facilitate your journey into the what tech space. Now, our instructors are what experts from leading global companies like what Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and so on. And what is our instructors' goals? Their goal is just to what give you what real world skills that you need to succeed in this what tech space. So that's just to assure you that what you are in the what right and so basically, before I go like any forward or anything, now I would like to know a bit about every one of us joining us here. I know normally in our sessions we have people from Asia, Africa, Europe, and different continents basically. So I'd just like to feel free with everyone to your name, where you're joining us from basically. So I just have like the ambience of what everyone that is here, and I know my people that are with me. So in the comment section, I'll just be checking right now to see where each and every one of us what is joining from basically. So let's see, where's everyone joining us from? Hi everyone. Okay. Okay. Warsaw from UK. Hi Warsaw from UK. How you doing? Um Alejandro from Atlanta. Hi Alejandro. How are you doing also? And welcome to the session today. Okay, where's everyone else? Um Google from South Africa. Hi Google from South Africa. Okay, I can also see Abdusalam Yusuf joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Hi, Abdusalam. Welcome to the session. Where are my people? I can see like about 20 plus people, and just I can barely see like the rest. Okay, Precious from what US? Hi, Precious. Welcome to the session. Today, okay, Pamela from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Hi, Pamela. How you doing? Okay, we have this Rich from Liverpool, UK. Hi, Rich. Then we have Bahir from Nigeria. Okay, Willie from the US. We have also have what Sahid from Lagos. So I mean, as we can see like what different people from around the world joining us. And once again, we are very, very happy to have you guys here. For you to join this session today. And like again, like I said, welcome to the starting of your what tech journey. We're here to what help you. So let's move on to what we'll be doing today, basically. So what are we doing today? Like I said, first with the fundamentals, that is the fundamentals of what everything in the digital world, not just what cybersecurity alone. We will answer the big question: what is networking and why it is absolutely what critical for anyone in cybersecurity. I know many of us, some of us might have been hearing what without networking, um, without networking, you can't be a cybersecurity expert. So we're going to be what walking through like all of these to just put us in the right path, widen our knowledge and what to do and what not to do, putting us in the right path basically. So next, I'll break down like the key blocks of a network for us. Like, I want you to think of them like a Lego pieces. So we'll construct, break down, arrange, and what build our own network. Same in this session. And then there comes the fun part to be the fun part, which everyone is absolutely waiting for, which is what would also be doing basically what our hands-on demonstrator using a fantastic tool called what Cisco Packet Tracer. So it will just be helping us with our what network simulation. So you see how all of these things, oh, how am I able to what send message to my neighbor? How am I able to call my daughter? How am I able to call my friend? You would see how what all of these things what happen in depth. So you get to just what widen more of your experience. And also finally, for those who are inspired to continue basically to start their tech journey, and after this session, we also have like a very special we have this very special growth internship program after joining us. And also we have our special discount for you at the end of the session, which would also be what talking about. And I know that what I've met almost everyone. I've met Sahid, I've met Google and a whole lot of people. I've even met Rakesh. So I've met every one of you. So now it's just for the time. Now it's just the time for me to what basically what introduce myself. So my name is what Tohib Jimo, and I'm a senior cybersecurity associate here at Analytics. And I have a strong background in basically IT infrastructure, penetration testing, cloud security, security operations, and so on. So let me tell you something. Basically, my passion lies in helping organizations build strong and what resilient security framework. That's my passion. And in my career going forward, I've worked as a what cybersecurity in a fintech organization where I worked as like the infrastructure infrastructure security specialist, where I safeguard all of the entire um all of the entire organization infrastructure basically. And I've also worked as a incident responder where I come in when threats are facing the organizations and all of that. So this is to just show you that what you are put in the hands of what skilled personnel in analytics here. That's what we do. So most importantly, I've also had the privilege of guiding what over 100 individuals with no prior tech experience like some of us here into getting their what first cybersecurity roles. And my goal today is to what make networking clear and make it what very, very practical to your understanding, and also by making it what exciting for you. So you can also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from everyone after this session. So that's that about me. And I'm not also here alone today. Basically, okay, sorry about that. I'm not also here alone today. I have one of my amazing colleagues with me, Priscilla Fanama. So Priscilla is a passionate educator, data expert, and career strategist. So she's also a growth catalyst at Analytics. Like I said, she's my colleague here, but she's also all of these things that I've mentioned above. She has been instrumental in basically helping people navigate the complex tech landscape, like we all know how it can be. So with expertise as freelance data analyst, crypto instructor, tech career goal, and all of that. She's has successfully what onboarded and mentored over what 500 individuals and helping them transition into what tech, like some of us here. So she will also be in the chat to also answer some of your questions and also what speak to us later along the line. So now let's get to the business of today. Let's get to the business of today. So let's dive in basically. But before I go on, I want you to I want us to do something basically. So we all know how important networking is before we start doing all of the technical parts and all of that. Let's start with the basics. Let's network with what each and every one of us here. So we get better what understanding of networking. So in the chat, I want everyone to tell me, oh, what industry they are coming from right now, what sector do they work in, be it, are you in healthcare, are you in finance, are you in education, retail, business, law, basically. So let's network with each other before we now get into the what technical networking. So let me go to the chat box once again to also what hear from everyone. And okay, this is just another reminder. I would love to remind everyone that my colleagues will be dropping certain link in the what in the comment section in the chat box basically. So that what that link is for you to have what the recording of this session, so you can go over it again, and also the material that I'll be using for what this session. So you can what just fill in the form, fill in from the link, so you can have access to all of these things that I just said. Yeah. Okay. I have Babatunde Opeyemi, Lagos, Nigeria. Okay. Hi, Babatunde. Okay. Okay. We have Vincent Ajiboye from what finance, Glee from health sector. I welcome. Joshua from what travel industry. Okay, what do we have? We have Sahid from sales, and also what Sami from what logistics. We have Sami from logistics. Okay, Google says she's a full-time mom. Hi, Google. Welcome. Stella says accounting. Oh, our accountants in the house. Okay, Babatunde says I. Okay, I to you also, Babatunde. Okay, audit. Abdusalam says what? Audit. That's an interesting one. Okay. Pamela says business. Okay, my business people. Victoria says healthcare. Daniel Uwanchuku says what? Business. So as we can see, we have what? A whole lot of people here from what? Different sector. And basically everyone is what? Networking. Basically what we are doing right now is just what? How we are going to what? We're networking with each other. We are networking with me. That way, I already know Daniel. I already know Glory. I already know that what Glory is into what? Accounting. Stacy is into what? Finance. Pamela is into what? Business. Abdusalam is into what? Audit. So what? We're already networking with each other that way. So that is how what I see all of these things. So that's how I see what all of these things, like I've said, basic what? Networking. Okay, so now I see someone from banking, from all of these things, from education, from accounting, and all of that. So first thing I want you to have at the back of your mind is what? If you're coming into this space, nothing is difficult. As far as what you've set your mind and also know how to break what all of these things down. Like I've broken networking down into what? Three things that you can see from my screen, which is what? Simple connection, a common language, and what? Everyday relevance. Whenever you hear someone use anything big or anywhere, just what? Break them down. So first things first, I will discuss about what? Simple connection. So for example, for the simple connection, for our friend in the healthcare, that's the connection that allows what? Patient record to be shared with what? To be shared what? With others what? Instantly. For instance, you want to share patient records what? um from you to what, let's say, the lab scientist. How do you share that? Simple connection, basically. You communicate with what, whoever you're trying to share with, and it's securely. So to go over that again, for example, for somebody in healthcare that wants to observe what, simple connection. So that's the connection that allows your patient's record to be shared instantly and securely between what, a doctor's computer and also what, the hospital what, server. Because when you, for example, when you go to the hospital and you want to treat yourself, basically, you go to see the doctor. The doctor already has your information on his own what, personal computer. Then you just need to tell, oh, maybe your name or a certain ID that you have. How is the doctor able to do that? Networking is what helps with what, that scenario, which simply indicates what, simple connection. It's as simple as that. If you understand that networking is just basically what, a simple connection, you're already good to go. And secondly, what networking also provides for us is a what, a common language. A common what, language. Now for accounting, for someone in accounting, when you use your banking app, your phone is speaking to a what, a special and secured language with the bank server, for instance, to verify like your identity before you are able to what, have access to it. It speaks what, a common language. That common language is what is defined as what, networking rules and what, protocol, basically. So all of these things are just what we break down into what, simple things. And finally, it has what, everyday relevance. Everyday relevance. It has that. It has what, all of that. That is, networking allows you to what, have access to what, information at any convenient time that you want to. That's what, for instance, you pick your phone. For instance, Google picks her phone and what, she goes on to what, just basically search, oh, what's the weather forecast for so day? What helps you do that? Networking. So that is basically just what, the fundamentals of what, networking. Okay, let me go again. Let me speak to us again in the comment, in the chat box, to know what some of us think about networking. What some of us think about networking. I'll be checking that in the chat box. Let's see. Like in just one word, what would you say networking is to you? Let me hear from others. Let me hear from everyone. Where's Stacy, Babatunde, Daniel? I'm expecting you guys. Pamela, Abdusalam. Connection, basically. Okay. Vincent says connection. Google says relevant always. Daniel says information. Um, Gutam says making connection. Glee says what? Link.
Miss William Patrick. I first heard about Ten Analytics when I was searching for an online program to build my tech skills.
Okay, sorry about the break, guys. I think I had like a little bit of issue from here, so I'm so sorry about that. Uh, I think that spots a little bit of our networking, so I'm sorry about that. But I mean, that's what we always say, that what is accessible at any time. Like immediately, I was able to get my situation fixed. I am up back. So sorry about that. I mean, this is why we're doing what networking today. So all of this are what is going to be happening. Like you face issues when you're working on certain things at your organization. When you start working as a what cybersecurity expert or cybersecurity specialist. So you just have to do what you have to look for what is wrong and what make it accessible back. So like I was saying before I was cut short, what we'll be talking about right now, from what you can see on my screen, is what we call what the components of what will make up our network, what we're going to be working on today. So what we're doing here is what I'll give you like the cybersecurity terms of all of this explanation, and I'm also going to what explain them thoroughly. So what we'll be doing is just basically what building blocks of a network, and let's meet what would make all of our building stand strong. That is the main players in building our network. These are what we'll be talking about. So let's talk about a router first. In cybersecurity terms, the router is basically a layer 3 device that connects different networks together. So it makes decisions basically based on what IP addresses. I know now I'm saying a whole lot of things that some of us don't understand, but I would break it down shortly. So I want you to think of as a router as the main gate of like an airport of your office, basically. So it's the one device that connects your entire local network to the great big world of internet. I mean, most of us have routers. Most of us have routers in our house where we are able to connect what our phones, our PCs, our printers, and so many other devices. It connects us to the what to the big guy outside, which is what we call what the internet. That's the work of the router. So on to the next one, we have what switch. So what switch basically does is what in an organization, what switch does is what connects what multiple computers and devices internally. That is, they will only be able to communicate with each other what internally. They will not be able to communicate over what the internet. I know some of us in our organizations, in our organization, it depends on how your organization is structured. You would see some big boxes in some places. Let's say in different story building, you see some big boxes that different wires are connected to, that would be on green lights, sometimes green lights, sometimes um red lights, sometimes yellow lights. So those are our switches. So they just connect you locally to be for you to be able to what communicate with one PC and the other PC. But you're not able to communicate what over the internet. What helps you to be able to communicate over the internet is what we call what our router. And finally, we have what our PC, our laptop, basically the end device where users actively work or consume data on. Like where we are working from, your end device can be your phone, it can be your laptop, it can be basically printers also. It can be all of that. So we have our devices in basically we have all of these things in this organization where you'll be working. We have a whole lot of all of these things. In a busy office, you see a whole lot of this. Like, how do you think a receptionist will be able to send information to the MD basically? How do they communicate? I know probably some of us here have heard one time in our life that computers communicate with what ones and zeros and all of that. Now, there's something we call what? There's something we call what? Unique identifier. That is how the communication happens. That is how what? The networking happens. For networking to happen, there has to be what? Communication between what? Two parties. And what helps in this communication? If they don't have that particular thing, will they be able to communicate? No. Oh, sorry about this. Will they be able to communicate? No. How am I able to send information from who? From Nigeria to my brother in the UK? Am I able to do all of these things? That's where we have something called what? IP addresses. So IP address basically is what? Is the unique identifier used in what? Communication. So it is your, basically, in simple words, it is your digital postal code. Just say it like that. If somebody wants to send a letter to you, if they don't have your postal code, how would they able to do that? A physical letter. And IP addressing is one of the what most important concepts in networking, because everything basically what works with it. So just like the slides say, think about your what? Mail delivery. So to set, like I said, to send a letter, you need a specific street number, home number, and postal code. So an IP address does that exact same thing. It does that exact same thing for what? Data. For anything in the what? Digital world. So every single device connected to a network, basically, be it your phone, your laptop, a server, a printer, needs what? A unique internet protocol, which we call what? IP. So they need what? A unique internet protocol address, which I've been calling what? IP address. Again, this address allows our other device to precisely what? Identify and what? Send data packets to the destination. I have an IP address that I'm using to communicate. I have an IP address that I'm using to what? That enabled me to be able to what? To join this meeting. You also have an IP address. Everything we're doing is with the help of what? A IP address on the internet for this communication, for the connectivity to happen. That's basically what how our IP address what helps us. So I want to ask everyone a question again. Do you think IP address is basically, do you think is the backbone of what? Networking? Let me see. If you agree, just say yes in the chat box. If you don't agree, just say no. Okay, I can see Abby. Abby says yes. Abdul Salam says yes. Um, Chini says yes. Vincent says yes. Okay, I need more answers so I know if we're on the same page. Do you think that's the backbone of what? Networking? So Pamela says yes. Joshua says yes. Willie says yes. Google says yes. Daniel says yes. Exactly. I mean, we would see if it is the backbone or if it's not the backbone when we get to certain points here. Everyone will get to understand that. We'll get to see that soon. If our answers are right or what they are wrong. So now let's talk about how networking what connects to cybersecurity. Like I said, cybersecurity is basically what? Protecting everything in the digital what? In the digital environment, in the digital world, in the digital space. You're protecting it. Anything that it is what? Over the internet, over your network, you have to what? Protect it. So now let's look at the relationship. Let's connect all of this directly what? To cybersecurity. And why is this so sick? Why is this so what? Critical for a security professional to understand what? How networking works. First, the data part. Because as a cybersecurity expert, our primary job is to what? Protect what? Our data. So again, as a cybersecurity expert, our primary job is to what? Protect what? Our data. And we both know that what? Data doesn't just sit in one place all the time. It travels across network. So to protect a valuable convoy of data, you must know what? The roads it travels on. Not only knowing the roads that it travels on, you must secure them what? Properly. So understanding networking means you what? You understand the digital road. Because as a cybersecurity expert, you cannot protect, you cannot secure what you don't know. That's why networking is at all stage of a cybersecurity expert. You would need networking. Networking is very, very important. That's why when you hear from experts, they will always tell you, don't what? Don't skip networking. Don't at all. And secondly, we have what? Attack vector. So now let me break down what attack vector is for us. So a vector is just a part or method. First, a vector is just a part or method. So nearly every cyber attack, from a simple phishing email to a complex brute force and all of that, uses what? Network as it what? Gateway. So attack vectors is just what? How you're being attacked. What method is being used. And most of these attacks comes from what? Over the network. So attackers can scan your network for what? Open doors and basically open windows, like we call them in security term, ports, to get in. So if you don't understand networking, once again, you can't see or block all of these what? Attack what? Vectors. All of these what? Attack what? Methods. And thirdly, we have what? Visibility is what? Defense. Now, let me explain. This is very huge. So, if you know what your network traffic looks like, if you know what it looks like, you can always spot an intruder. Now, this is something else. So, in cybersecurity, we have something. You need to understand the normal state of whatever you're working with, so that you will know the difference between your normal state and your attacked phase. A phase whereby you're being attacked, because the state is going to be what? Very different. So, okay, now imagine seeing a strange car down your street, down your quiet residential street at what? 3 a.m. Let's put it like that. Now, you would notice that it is out of place, right? Because normally it is not always there. Seeing that type of thing in 3 a.m., wouldn't you notice that? So it's the same way a cybersecurity analyst watches what? The network traffic, for it to detect what? Abnormalities. Another example is if a computer in the finance department suddenly starts what? Sending huge amount of data to what? Like an unknown address in another country. For example, if Pamela is working on a computer and she doesn't know that she has been hacked, and Pamela is a business person, and she starts to see that a whole lot of data concerning her business start going out. It starts going out to somebody she doesn't know. If she has like a cybersecurity expert, the cybersecurity expert would know what act on. Basically, that's what I'm talking about. So now it leads us to the next one. Now that what we already understand most of everything I've been talking about, networking, why we need networking as a cybersecurity expert, and all of that. Let's talk about let's start our race towards building our simple office network. We'll build an office network here together today. So don't doubt me wrong, theory is great, but nothing beats when you get your hands dirty. which is what our number one priority here at what Analytics. Because when you join this program, you'll be doing a whole lot of projects. This is even the simplest one that you would ever come across. Because we always do what? We always give projects to our participants based off what is being done out there in the real world. So trust me when I say nothing beats what? Getting your hands what? Dirty. So you can practice all of this without buying like thousands of network. That's basically what this lab is for. So now I'll be introducing you to an amazing tool called what? Cisco Packet Tracer. Cisco Packet Tracer. That's the name of the tool that I'll be using today. And I want you to think of it as your what? As a virtual playground for networking. I don't want everything to be too serious, basically. So let's just think of it as a what? Virtual playground for basically networking. So I want you to think of it as like a digital Legos. I think everyone here knows Legos, just basically building and that. So what Packet Tracer does is that what Cisco Packet Tracer, what it does is that what is a simulation tool where you can build, configure, and test virtual network. So it's just basically building your network before doing it in the real world. Trust me, experts, they use this before because you have to practice your network before what? Going physically to do it. You have to have a simulation down. You have to have the architecture on how it is going to look. So I don't just want you to see this as, oh, it's just a simulation. No. You have to build what you want to do physically before doing it what? Physically. That's what Cisco Packet Tracer what does for us. So basically, you'll be seeing how I'll be dragging equipment, connecting them, connecting these. You see the flow of data. You will see how it goes. So it's just basically like a safe space where you can what design and test different setup, experiment, and even break. You can break things there as far as what is still in simulation. So that's basically what Packet Tracer what is all about. So what we'll be doing today is, as a cybersecurity expert, starting your journey in what? Network and security. Your task is to, our task here today is just to basically set up what? A simple secure office network using what? Cisco Packet Tracer. Just like a real small business, we're going to be building this together. So you imagine three offices: HR, finance, admin. Okay, I think okay, let's add one more. Would add the IT guys. So they'll have like a printer, a router, and a switch. So after that, so we're then going to be building this network. We'll add and connect all our devices together. We'll make sure what that they are flowing, connect them with the what right cable. So all of these things are what we'll be doing what together today. So let's get into it and get our hands dirty, basically, like I've been saying. So let me to just know that everyone is still here. Let me know if you're still here with us. Just let me just see yes, 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 yes. So I know that we are eager to just learn about what the practical hands-on that we are here for today. Okay, can see yes from Abby, yes from Vincent, yes from Chini, yes from Desi, Chiamaka. Okay, now I can see that my people are ready. Even Abdul Salam, our auditor, is ready. So I can see that what my people are ready. So let me share my screen so we can get on that. Let me share my full screen so we can get on what Cisco Packet Tracer. So let me share my screen so we can get on with it. Be seeing my screen soon. Okay, yes, I can see. And also, please don't forget, with the links that my colleagues are dropping, again, it's for you when you feel it, you'll be able to have access to what the recording of this session and also the material that I'm using here today. So you can go all over it again, basically. So that is what it is for. Um okay, so now let's get on with it. So now um, this is the packet tracer overview. Basically, this is what we'll be working on. So basically, let's just do like a little walkthrough before we start getting our hands on everything here. So this is like the logical view. Yeah, just this space that you can see here is the logical view. We also have like a physical view, basically. So we'll be working with the what logical view. So to my bottom left here, we have what? To my bottom left, we have what? Network devices. And under network devices here, we have routers, we have switches, we have hubs, we have wireless devices, and so many other devices. So under routers, you can see the different type of routers we have here. You can see where my cursor is. We have different type of routers here. Under switch also, you can see different type of switches that we have here. So that is that about the network devices, some of the network devices. So here we can also see what our endpoint what devices. And when I say our endpoint devices, like I've explained before, these are our PCs, laptop. You can see PCs, laptop, server, printer, phone, TV, all of that. Those are like our endpoint what devices. And to the next one, we can also see what different components basically, but these aren't what we'll be working with today. And then we can see what our connection. So the first one here, which is like a flash sign, is our automatic connection. Then we have our console, we have our copper wire. So you can see that this even seems like real life because we have copper wire, we have different type of wires here. We have copper crossover, we have fiber wire, we have phone basically. So basically different type of thing. All the devices that you've been using to set up your network is there. Everything down to wires and all of those devices. So that's to show you that what I've been talking about, that Cisco Packet Tracer doesn't just enable you to have like the simulation. You have what you already have representation of what the real life, how it's going to look like in the real life, in the real sense. So basically, that is what it is going to look like basically. So now let's get down into it. So from our task, we can see that we have to use a router. So I'm going to click on the router here and just bring it to the middle here. You can see the router here. So we have to use two switches also. Two switches. So let me put one here and let me put the other what? Yeah. Let me make it straight. Then our devices also. So we have one here. We have another here. Then we can also put our printer here, basically. On the other side also, we're going to put what? Let's just leave one here for this other side. Um, So I'm just trying to arrange it very well. So, okay, let me bring this down here so it doesn't. Okay. So now, to go again, what all of these devices do. This is our router, basically. Our router is what will connect all of these devices that we have. These end devices is what will connect them over to the internet for them to be able to what? Have access to what? Internet. That is for you to be able to go to google.com. I'll be able to go there. It's a router that will do that. Why the switch? It's just what will make them communicate with each other because they are on the same network. So switch would not make them communicate over the internet. It will only what companies only use them because of what it adds another layer of security. So they can restrict you from going to the internet if they want or not. I know some of us in the organizations where we work, sometimes you won't be able to have access to, you can't go out to the internet. You only be able to communicate with your colleagues that are in-house. So that's why they use what? All of these things. But for some organization, they allow their employees to go over to the internet. That's why we have the router here. But still, there are certain things that they will block from what? Entering the what? Internet. So now, let's get on with it. Let's start with what? Connecting. That is, let's start with what? Since we have our devices here, let's start what? Using our cables to what? Connect them. And Packet Tracer has made our life easier, yes. Yeah, they've made our life easier in the sense that what we can use automatic connection. You can see this flash here is what represents automatic connection. No matter what you're doing, it's automatic. But normally, you're supposed to use what? The copper wire, because that's what most of us use in our organization. Okay, let me ask us again in the chat, in the comment, in the chat box, basically. I know some of our organization, they just use Wi-Fi, but some of us in our organization, they still use what? Cabling. Like all those white Ethernet cabling that you see. That's what we're going to try to do here right now. If you've had experience with using all of those cable, please comment in the chat box. Yes, so I know that some people know what I'm saying is true. So let's say that if you've ever used all of those what? White cables to get internet in your exactly. Now I can see Gabriel says what? Gabriel says yes. James says yes. Yes, sir, but not at work, just at cafe. Okay. Yeah, Babatunde also at cafe. Yes, all of those things. So now you have what? Real world experience to all of these things now. Now you're going to be feeling like what? Like the IT guy, because you're going to follow me as I do this. So like I said, we're going to use this automatic cable connection here. This automatic that looks like flash is going to serve as our what? Cable here. Then we are going to connect all of these things together. So I just tapped on it. When I tapped on it, I'm going to put it on the end. Let's start from here, from this end device here. I'm going to tap on it and draw it to what? My switch. That's one connection that I have made. So another connection that I'm going to make is also this. I'm just going to connect everything. Tap on my tap on this, then connect it here. If you notice something, immediately what we connected this first one, you can see what? FAO. You can see something here again, FA0/1. Now this other one is what? It's still FAO here with the end device, but what? FA0/2. So what this means is what? Fast Ethernet. It basically means what? It basically means what? Interface. That is, what interface in all of these devices are they connected to? So let me show you something again. Let me show you something. But let's finish connecting this. Then I'll connect my printer also to the switch. Then lastly, let me connect this here. So let me show you something about our switches. I'll click on the switch here. Let me click on this. So I don't know if any of you have ever had like the privilege to go into server rooms, or you've seen your IT guys bring out certain devices that they don't use anymore. You see some of them at the back like this. It has a whole lot of ports. I don't know if you guys have ever witnessed that. So it has a whole lot of ports. This is another reason why what I say Cisco Packet Tracer is not just about what simulation. It also gives you what real world experience, because all of those your Ethernet cable, they are coming from here. See, they're connecting from what here. So this is how what our switches look like out there. This is what it looks like. So I just wanted to also what show that. So let's continue with what with our cable connection. So now we're then going to join what our switches. We're going to join our switches to our what router. Switches to our router, basically. So I don't know if all of you are noticing something that I can also see. You can see that what some of the connection are showing green. See, this is showing green. Everything is showing green, but here it's showing red. That's where it gets tricky. That's where it gets interesting, not even tricky. That's where it gets interesting. In the sense that, don't forget when I said that, what switch would allow us to do is what? For these guys to be able to communicate with each other. And we've connected them, and they are what? The green means what? They would be able to communicate. But what? They won't be able to what? Communicate what? With the router. And the router is the one that allows them to go what? Over to the network. That's why this place is what? Green. Is red, sorry. So red means what? No connection. White green means what? There's connection. So you can also see here red. So now we need to find a way to turn all of this red what? All of this red to what? Green. So there will be connection generally in what? Everything. So that's what we need to do. So now don't forget, everything here that we have is what? New. It hasn't been configured. So for switch, they are easy to configure. It's just by you what? Pulling up the cables and connecting them. But for router, you have to configure your router what? From scratch, because this is a new router. Because when you buy router from all of these big companies like Microsoft, like all these type of business organization router, they expect you to configure it by yourself. It won't be like the normal router that you just buy as a normal user and it will come fixed and come what? Configured already. It won't be like all of that. Because this now they expect you to be an expert. So you have to configure it from what? From the scratch. It won't just be the normal one where you just put the battery and they'll put the password at the back for you. So you just enter that. So you have to what? Configure it from scratch. But first things first, one thing we can do is what? Something we can do now is to what? Let's basically what? Rename all of these PCs. All of our PC, let's rename them. Because we know that everyone here are like the normal user, and this guy here, this PC here is just what? The IT. So now I'm going to assign names to what? All of these computers that we have. So now I'm just going to click on it. Now click on what? Configure. You can see what? Display name. So I'm going to change the display name. I'm going to change the display name to what? Okay, let's give Google this PC. So this PC is going to stand for Google's PC. The next one, let's give it to Abdusalam. Okay, sorry. Let me click on it and just go to configure. Then display name. Let's change it to what? Abdusalam. So now this is Abdusalam PC, Abdusalam and Google's PC. We don't need to rename this printer because printers are just printers. Now, who is going to act as our IT? Let me see. Let's see. Okay. Let me pick let's see. Okay, let's pick Victoria as our IT. So Victoria as our IT. So let's go to configure. You click on it again, go to configure, you change the name. I mean, we all know that what computers always have their name. Some of us in our computer, you see, oh, Abdusalam PC, you see Victoria's PC. So all of that. So that's just basically what we are doing here. We're just changing the names. So now, like I said, now let's go on to what? Configure what? Our router. Let's go on. So we'll click on it as it says. So this is also what our router looks like. From the back, you see that what path, but it's different from our switch. You can see that from the switch, that's a whole lot of connection at the back. But from this is just basically what you need to configure it to start working. That's just what you need to do. And to configure our router, we have to use what? CLI, which is what? Command line interface. That's what CLI means. So this is just basically by doing what? Sorry, this is basically by using syntax to just configure the interface. So as a cybersecurity expert, you'd be doing this a whole lot. So you'll be doing all of this a whole lot. So what we can do now, we're just going to start configuring with the command line interface. So you can even see, first thing we come across, would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? So that's the first thing that it is showing us here. So okay, hold on. Let me try to increase this, because I noticed some of us would not be able to see that. Let me just try to make it big. Let me try to make it big, so at least we can see that. Now, please manage with me if you can't. I try to make it big as much as I can. So configuring it, we're just going to do no first, because we want to start from the beginning. So this is how configuring your router is as a expert, as an expert basically. So now you can see that you're in the router console. This is it here, router. So there's something called privilege escalation. That is you moving from a normal user to an admin user. So that's what we are first going to do here. And we're going to use the command line to use is just, so when I mean a command line, they're just basic English words, basically, that I'll be saying. It's not something that should scare you, but when you come into the program, these are all of the things that would break into simpler forms again for you, so you can grasp them. So I'm just going to do enable this this for us. I'm going to enable it. So because I want to be seeing our image at the back also, so I'm going to enable it. Then after enabling it, I'm going to tell you that I want to configure the terminal, because that's basically what we want to do. We want to configure the terminal. And also another thing that you can do at any point in time is, so how technology works is that anything you want to do, there's a manual to it. You just have to ask for it. So you can just do help. You can just do help, basically. Okay, hold on. Let me close this. I don't think it will work in that interface, but I would show us where help will work. I'll show us where help would work. Come in, let me just close this again. Yeah, let me first let's configure the terminal, because that's what we want to do, like I said. So you can see that we've moved from just router. Yeah, we've moved to router configure. That is, it's telling us that now we can configure our terminal. That's what it's telling us. Okay, that's what it's telling us, that we can configure our terminal. So first thing we are going to do is first thing we are going to do, like I always say, so we are going to try to fix this red light here first. We're going to fix it. We're going to make it green. And I said that when we make it green, what would happen? It means what? They are communicating. But right now, they are not communicating with the router because we've not set up what? The router. So basically, let's set up the router, like I said. So the first thing we will do is what? To log into what? We're going to log into what? This interface first. We're going to log into, because there are two ways. This is just basically like two doors, because what? We have one connection here and we have another connection here. So this has splitted our router what? Into two. So we have to configure this part first, then we'll configure what? This other part, basically. So let's configure what? This part first. And the name of this part is yet, this left-hand side is what? FA0/0. That's the what? Name of the what? Interface. So that's the one we'll be working with first. So we can just do interface. I'm going to type in interface what? FA0/0. So now we are in this what? Interface. Now, don't forget, I said what? For all of these things to communicate together, they need a what? Unique identifier. Does anyone want to remind me what our unique identifier is? Anyone? Do you want to remind me of what our what? Unique identifier? Exactly. So Joshi said what? IP address. Abdul Salam also said IP address. Now, really IP address. So thank you very much, guys. So what we need here is what? Our what? IP address. So now we need to give this an IP address for it to be able to what? Function. So I'm just going to do IP address. From the top of my head, I'm just going to come up with like an IP address 192.168. Let's say 10.1. That's the IP address I want to give what? This left-hand side, which is what? FA0/0. That's the interface. The left-hand side interface. That's the IP address I want to give it. Then space, I'm going to give it what? It's subnet mask. 255.255.255.what? 0. This is what? Subnet mask, which is just basically based off what the IP that we gave to it. Now I'm going to press what? Enter. Then there's something you need to do to put it on. After configuring the IP address, you have to do what? No shutdown. So what no shutdown does is what? It will now power what? It will power it up. You can see from the code here, interface, this change state to up. Before it was down, but because of the no shutdown that we used, what? It is now what? Up. So I don't know if anyone can notice anything on this left-hand side. What can you notice right now after doing that? Anyone? What can you notice? Anyone? What can anyone notice? Green light, exactly. It changed from red to green. Exactly. So connection is green. So what does it mean when it changed to green? What does it mean when it changed to green, my people? What does it mean? It's connected. Thank you. Tayo says what? It's connected. Connection is allowed. Exactly. Gliss says it is connected. So that's basically it. Now we've been able to give it what? Our unique identifier that makes connection, that makes networking what? Happen. That's why that place is able to show us that what? It is connected perfectly. So it's also the same thing that we'll do for what? We'll do here for this other interface here on the right-hand side for it to change from what? Red to what? Green. So it's the same thing we're also going to do. So let's do the same thing again. So I'm just going to exit from the interface and log into its own interface. So the right-hand side, for the right-hand side, the interface is what? FA0/1. Don't forget, for this left-hand side, the interface was what? FA0/0. So like we did here, see it for the left-hand side interface, FA0/0. But for this here, we have what? FA0/. So I'm just going to do what? Interface FA0/what? 1, and press what? Enter. So now I'm in this interface. Now I'm going to give it what? an IP address also. So IP address 192.168. So I gave that one .10.1. Let me give this .20.1. Then same subnet mask 255.255.255.0. So I'm just going to press enter also. Then what I explained before, our what? No shut down, which will power it up. So you can also see that what? It changed state. It has changed the state to what? Up here. So what do we notice again, my guys? What do we notice again? What do we notice again on the right-hand side? Pamela, Glee, where are you guys? What do we notice again? Change to green also. Exactly, Jojo. Yo-yo. Babatunde, exactly. It is connected. Tayo, yeah, green. Red, yes. Chioma says red is gone. Glee says it is green again. Chioma says it is connected. Color change. Exactly what I'm trying. So now you can see that what? All of these things, what? All of these things now, we can go away from our router. You can see that what? They are what? What? They are red. So now we have one more thing to do. Okay. First, let's write something out. Let's write it out. Let's write something 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 out. So this side, sorry, let me remove this. Let me close this also. I just want to write. So for this side, we have one. Let me write out the IP address that we give that interface 192.168.10.1. This is the interface for the the left-hand side. So for this other side is what 192.168.20.1. So that's the what interface for the what other side. So this place, everything here will now fall under what? This IP address. Why everything here will fall under what? This IP address. So now what we can do is to what? We'll start giving each of these guys what? IP. We'll give Google PC IP address. We'll give Abdusalam also its own IP address. So for them to be able to what? Communicate also. So you just click on it. You go to the desktop. I mean, this is the desktop of your PC. So like I always say, it's just basically like you're working in what? In real life. It's basically like you're working in real life. So this is the interface of Google's PC. So we're just going to go to the what? IP configuration to give it IP address. Then make sure you pick the static. So we're going to give it IP now. 192. You have to give it what falls under what the interface it is under. So 192.168.10, let's say .11. You just have to make sure that the first 3 octets are the same. Then the subnet mask, which is what we gave it the other time, which is 225.225.225 when we were setting up what? The router. Then onto the next line, we have the default gateway. So we call the default gateway what? The interface IP. So what we have here is going to be the what? Default gateway, which is 192.168.10.1. So that way, we've been able to configure what? Google's PC. So now, let's try to configure what? Abdusalam's PC. Basically, same thing that we did. We'll go to desktop, IP configuration. From static, we're just going to do 192.168.10.1. dot 10. I think we gave Abdusalam PC dot 11. So let's give this dot 12. Then the subnet mount, which is 255.255, then 0. Then the gateway again. The gateway, which I already said is the what? Interface IP address 192.168.10.1. So we've configured Abdusalam's PC that way. So what we can do, let me just write their IP address beneath it. So 192.168.10.11. Here we used for Abdusalam, we dot 10.12. So now for the router, let's check our router. We'll click on it. This is our our printer. This is our printer. Do we need to do any configuration? Since it's a network printer, yes. So it's just going to ask us for our what? Default gateway, which is, and I said our default gateway is our interface IP here, which is 192.168.10.1. So this is our router's default gateway. Yeah, so that's it with that. So that's it with this surface. So now what we can try to do is try to check communication between what? These two. Let's see if they are what? Communicating. They can communicate with what? Each other. So I'm just going to go into Google's PC. I'm going to go to the desktop. I'll go to the terminal. Sorry, I'll go to the command prompt. So when I go to the command prompt, there's something called ping. From the name ping. When you want to ping somebody, it just means what? You want to buzz the person. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, hello. So I'm going to try to communicate with what? Abdusalam. And I know Abdusalam IP address is what? So I'm going to ping -t 192.168.10.12. So from what we can see, you can see that what? Let me stop this. You can see that what we're getting what reply from Abdusalam. Google's PC here is getting replies from what? Abdusalam. So that shows us that what we've been able to what set up everything completely. So it's just basically what we did here is also the same thing that what we are going to do here. So basically, we're just going to what also configure Victoria's IP address also. So that way we're built what our network as a whole. So let me see some of the questions that you have for me. Let me see some. Also, please, don't forget to fill the form that my colleagues are sharing in the comment section so that you can have the recording and the material I used for this. So Daniel, what no shutdown means is that what no shutdown does is that what after configuring it, after putting your IP on the router, what no shutdown does is that what it turns it on. It turns on the port of that interface here. It turns off the port. So that's basically what it is for. Yes. Okay. Tayo already answered you. Thank you, Tayo. Okay. Any question for me? Anyone? Because we've basically been able to what set up. But because of time, we won't be able to do this other hand side. So I can allow my colleague come up here and explain. So do you have any question for me before I continue with what I'm about to do? Any question for me? Okay, Daniel says, thanks. You're welcome, Daniel. So Absalam, you can see that your PC were able to reach your PC. So basically, if there are no questions for me, so from here, I'd just like you to know that what this is just tip from what we'll be doing at analytics with you. And from the way I've been able to explain it here, imagine coming into our program and what more you would gain from all of this, breaking into tech. This is even not only for people that what they are breaking into, for also what, for also the guys that are already in tech already, and you want to what, you want to build your portfolio, you want to have more projects to work on. These are the things that we do. We do them, we solve more complex projects. That's what we give to our participants here. So that's basically how to build our network, a small basic network. So for me here, going forward here, I would like to just hand over to my colleague, like that introduced from the beginning, that what she's going to also come here and talk to you and just give you the main theme of this session, the main reason why you're here. She's going to explain everything to you. So hi Priscilla, how are you doing, Priscilla?
Sorry, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you so much for such an interesting session. Hi, everybody. So we're about delving into the second half of the session. If you've had a good time so far, please leave a yes in the chat. If you've had a good time, I mean, we've just learned how to build or design a small office network, right? If you've enjoyed it so far, please leave a yes in the chat. Absolutely, Vincent. Abby says yes so far. That is beautiful. Chioma is saying that she's a nurse trying to transition into tech, and she's gotten something from this session. That's amazing. Now, just imagine, this is a masterclass and this took about 1 hour, 20 minutes, and you were able to get something really interesting, even as a nurse. Now, just imagine, that you're learning the entire thing. Right? Just imagine that you're getting all the right skills and everything that you would need to successfully transition into becoming a cybersecurity professional, right? So that is why I'm here to talk you through the other half of the session. So I'd like to make a very safe assumption that every single person right here on this call is interested in becoming a cybersecurity professional, right? So you're thinking cybersecurity, this thing sounds interesting, right? I can build a, small office network. I can help organizations safeguard their digital assets, ensure that there are no attacks. I can prevent attacks. I can monitor systems and all of that. All of this sounds interesting to you. So how do you get started, basically? Right now, right here on my slide, I want you to know that the cybersecurity career path is one very interesting career path in tech. Right? One very hot and juicy career path in tech right now. So I've been able to gather some facts for you here, so that you get to understand, right, the interesting bit of cybersecurity and why, if you're looking to transition, now is the best time. Right? So here on my slide, according to Axios and Cybersecurity Job Outlook, right, the US cybersecurity job listings jumped 12% from May 2024 to April 2025, with over 514,000 roles posted. Yet, there are only enough qualified professionals to fill 74 out of every 100 jobs. So what does this tell you? There's currently a demand for cybersecurity professional. Right? Now, the second point says that globally, the shortfall remains staggering. A shortage of 4.8 million cybersecurity professionals persists. But it is not just about the numbers, but vital capability gaps. So right here in the tech space, nobody needs a head knowledge or theories. They need to see that you have the abilities, the skills as a cybersecurity professionals. So even though, right, as we've seen, there's a demand for cybersecurity professionals, right? But then there's some sort of skill shortage, right? There are some sort of capability gaps. So you're looking to transition into a career path that is in demand. You need to gain the necessary skills if you're going to stand out. Right? Now, the cybersecurity remains one juicy part because across businesses, 87% experienced a breach last year. So this goes to show you that there's a need for cybersecurity professionals across any and every industry, right? With many businesses losing over $1 million due to lack of skilled cybersecurity staff. And currently in 2025, there are about 3.5 million openings for cybersecurity professionals. So why should this even matter to you looking to transition into tech? First of all, you have to understand that demand is surging. There's a demand for cybersecurity professional, and now is the right time for you to get started. Now is the right time for you to get all those skills that are required of you, right? And you get started. Okay, the second point is the industry recognizes skills over credentials. It is in tech, it is absolutely skills over credentials, competence over certifications. That is prevalent in the tech space. So you want to get into cybersecurity. The first thing you don't want to be bothered about is certification, because in the tech space, it is more of show me, right? I want to see that you have the skills. A lot of us like to assume that, oh, recruiters would want me to have certificates, right? But is that really what recruiters would want you to have? In the tech space, they're looking for just two things from you: skills and experience, right? So the cybersecurity industry absolutely recognizes skills over credentials. So you want to get started, your focus, as a beginner, you want to get started to be a cybersecurity professional. Your focus should be on skills. How do I gain the practical skills, right? And then employers are investing in talent development and retention, making early roles more secure and rewarding. So tell me, when is the perfect time to jump into cybersecurity other than now that it is currently in demand? And according to the Future of Jobs report, by the World Economic Forum, the cybersecurity career path is not one that will just be in demand for the now. Right? The demand for cybersecurity is going to continuously grow between now and, the next coming years. Right? And you started here of roles such as your security management specialist, Internet of Things specialist, information security specialist. These are roles in cybersecurity that will continuously grow. Right? So you want to get into cybersecurity. Remember, we've been able to establish one fact, that it is skills over credentials. So what are the skills that you need to learn? So I'm a beginner like Chioma that is currently a nurse, and you want to go into becoming a cybersecurity professional. What are the things you need to equip yourself with so that you're job ready? You have the right skills. So right here on my screen, you'll see what is called the key learning areas. And under the key learning areas, the first thing for a beginner, for every single person looking to transition into cybersecurity, the first thing you should learn is overview of cybersecurity roles and technologies. Now, there are different roles in cybersecurity, right? We have the roles that are for people that don't want to do a lot of technicalities. Right? We have the roles that are technical. So you have to understand all these roles, and then okay, I don't want to do anything too technical. You now know, okay, this is where I want to pitch my tent in. But firstly, you need to get an overview of the various cybersecurity roles and the technologies that are used in those roles. Then the second thing you also need to learn is information security principles, the CIA triad, and all of that. That is the foundation of cybersecurity. Okay, then you also get to learn introduction to network security, threats and vulnerabilities, SOC roles and responsibilities, log analysis, how to monitor the network and, analyze logs. Then you also have to learn threat detection and response, incident response and threat intelligence lifecycle, open source intelligence gathering, malware analysis and threat actor profiling, introduction to pen testing, right? Vulnerability scanning and network reconnaissance, exploitation techniques, governance and compliance framework, compliance audits and policy development, security awareness, training, and reporting. Now, the beautiful thing about these key learning areas that we have here at Analytics is this was very intentional for us. We needed to, ensure in cybersecurity, there's something called the blue team, the red team, and the purple team. So what we've done here at Analytics is ensure that anybody looking to transition into cybersecurity and wants to take our program, they are able to function in the purple team. So the blue team are the people that are, trying to defend the network, the company's network, and all of that. And those will be your SOC analyst. Right? Then the red team will be the people that are attacking, your pen testers, your ethical hackers, trying to look for vulnerabilities and loopholes. right? Then you also have the purple team, which is a combination of both the red team and the blue team. So if you take our cybersecurity program, you get to have the skills of a SOC analyst, right? You also get to have the skills of a pen tester or an ethical hacker. Then, of course, the GRC officer, you get to delve into GRC. So for some of us that are, not interested in too much technicalities, the GRC would be a strong suit for us. Right? But majorly, the cybersecurity program here at Analytics will give you insights and skills in 3 different exciting roles: SOC analysis, pen testing or ethical hacking, and then GRC. So what are some of the tools and technologies that you need to learn? Of course, Wireshark. This year, Cisco Packet Tracer, VMware, Metasploit, Zap, and all of that. These are some tools that you're going to work with while learning here at Analytics. Now, I need you to understand that the focus for us here at Analytics is not just for us to come teach you, right? And so you learn. The focus is, how do you learn in such a way that you are able to get a job? That is the key thing for us here at Analytics. First of all, we like to assume that every single person coming to train with us is a complete beginner. So how then do we teach you such that you gain the necessary knowledge and you're able to get a job even as a complete beginner? Guess what? Under 8 months. So we have to be very strategic about the key learning areas you'll be learning, and we have to be very intentional about your learning process. So right here at Analytics, you see all of these key learning areas. You're not coming to do theories. As a beginner, your learning process is very, very crucial, because at the point when you're trying to apply for jobs as a cybersecurity professional, recruiters would want you to show them experience. So how do you gain the experience? Right? This is why your learning journey has to be very, very strategic. Okay, so if you think about it, right, the way that mid-level staff are able to move up the ladder to senior level, it's just by the experience they've been able to gather, right? What gives them the experience? The projects they've been able to work on, right? The solutions they've been able to prefer and all of that. Now, that is the exact same way every beginner looking to transition needs to learn. You need to learn by gaining experience. And how do you learn by gaining experience? By absolutely working on projects. Theories don't get you the job. Remember, in the tech space, it is skills over credentials. So you have to ensure that your learning journey is taken very, very seriously, right? And you're very strategic. You need to gain experience while you're learning. So that is why here at Analytics, we've ensured that every key learning area you're going through, you're working on projects. You're gaining the practical experience. You're seeing for yourself, the role of a cybersecurity professional, the practical application of these various tools that you'll be learning. And this would help you build your experience. So these are the things that you need to learn as a beginner looking to transition. You don't want to go out there and just, look for videos to just watch. You're not putting any strategies to it. You're just, taking in all the theories, right? You will struggle so bad to get a job. So you need to be very intentional about your learning journey. That is why you need to come learn here at Analytics, where we teach you, by giving you hands-on experience. Right? Now, to gain all of these skills, both for SOC analysis, pen testing, or ethical hacking, and GRC, right? The learning timeline here at Analytics is for 8 months. Right? And this 8 months is split into your 6-month learning in class and 2 months of internship. Right? Now, we fully understand that every single person looking to transition into tech currently has a job that they are doing. I mean, for some of us who are looking to upskill, for some of us who are looking to get a new job. But the whole point is every single person looking to transition needs flexibility. Right? So that is why here at Analytics, we've ensured that your learning journey is very, very flexible. So you'd see the 6 months where you'll be gaining all the skills, right? You're literally going to be learning on Saturdays, and then you will be having your self-paced. Right? Now, out of 4 Saturdays in a month, remember that your learning journey is split into 6 months learning in class and 2 months of internship. Out of 4 Saturdays in a month, you're only required to be in a live class 2 out of those 4 Saturdays, right? And every single live class is for 3 hours. So we have the morning and the evening class just the same way you can see here on my screen. The morning class is best for people in Europe, UK, Africa, right? Because you get to learn between 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, right? And then we have the evening class, which is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. So for people in North America, Canada, US, we usually advise them to go for the morning class because even though it's a 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time, it will be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But then whether you're in Europe, you're in Africa, or in North America, you get to choose either of these timings, the one that works for you, right? And you attend your live class. And then you also have the self-paced. So in the self-paced, you are basically learning at your convenience. You're working on these projects and you're doing them at your convenience. You're choosing the time and you're also choosing the place. So for you looking to transition, you have a job, and you want to merge both of them, you want to upskill. This is absolutely how you need to learn in a blended learning environment. Right? Where you get the option to learn at your convenience. You choose how many hours you want to dedicate in a day, right? And you also have a live instructor-led class where you can interact with other people just on the call like this. You get to work on projects together. You have an instructor there that is answering every single question that you have. So this is absolutely how you want to learn. Okay? And this is how the learning is structured here at Analytics. Right? It is through this learning approach that we're able to, have people that have gotten jobs. So if you heard my colleague, introducing Analytics at the beginning, you see that we have over 2,500 people that have been able to transition from the classroom. They had no prior experience, right? They've been able to transition into their first jobs, right? But it always would seem impossible until it is done. It always feels like a story. So how can I, that is a nurse, literally get into cybersecurity and get a job? So I've also attached here some success stories for you to go through. So the first person you'd see is Adetayo. And the part that interests me, about this Adetayo's journey is that he didn't have to complete the entire training before he was able to get a job. Now there's a strategy to that, right? And I'll be letting you on as we go over the session. But basically, he didn't have to complete the cybersecurity training before he was able to get a job. So I've included a link to his testimonial here. What I want you to do is try to fill the attendance form so that you get this slide and you're able to go through at your convenience, right? I also have somebody here, Chukwebuka, from being a solution analyst to a security operations analyst in Ireland. And what did he have to do? He had to take the Analytics cybersecurity program. So I've shown you somebody without prior experience that was able to get a job as a cybersecurity professional. And somebody, Chukwuebuka was already in tech. So for those of us already in tech and we're looking to transition, you see that this is very, very possible. Right? So there's also a link to his testimonial here that you can go through. So for all this, Adetayo, Chukwuebuka, what was the strategy? Okay, so how did they get the technical skills? How did they get job? Because if you think about it, anybody can, pick up these technical skills here and there. But there has to be a strategy to it, right? That somebody without prior experience was able to get a job, without completing the entire training. Right? So what is the strategy? So here at Analytics, if you remember when I started, I said that the focus for us is to ensure that you are able to get a job after learning. It is not enough for you to come learn. We need you to be able to get a job. So we came up with a job equation formula, which states that to get a job, you would need the technical skills, and of course, you would need the employability skills. In the tech space, the technical skills are not enough to get you the job as a complete beginner, right? You're literally going through the technical skills, learning the different roles and all of that. How do you stand out? A lot of people are also learning those things, but then how do you stand out? How do you position yourself? It is by getting what is called the employability skills. So you merge the technical skills and you merge with the employability skills, and that is what will give you a job. This is one strategy that we've been able to hack, right? The technical skills and the employability skills. So what does the employability skills entail? And how would they help you stand out while you're training here at Tenalytics? I need you to have at the back of your mind always that the focus for me in transitioning is to get a job. So how do I become very intentional, strategic about it? So here at Tenalytics, one thing we've done is, apart from ensuring that you're working on projects, gaining all the experience and having a portfolio, remember in the tech space, it is more of show me what you can do. Okay, if I was a recruiter, and you tell me, oh, I'm a cybersecurity professional, I'm a SOC analyst. I want to see, what have you done as a SOC analyst? Right? And the only way you get to show to a recruiter, oh, I have this skill, I have the experience, is by showing them a portfolio, which you'll be taught how to build here at Tenalytics. So you see, all those projects you've worked on while learning, you are able to curate them and have them in a portfolio that you can showcase to a recruiter any day, anytime. Right? Now, for employability, the first thing we do 2 months into your training here at Tenalytics is what is called the CV review and revamp, right? So we get your CV 2 months into the program, and what we've been able to do is to provide you with a standard CV format. You want to apply for a cybersecurity role, your CV has to be tailored to that role. You don't want to use a generic CV. So what we've done is to provide you with the cybersecurity CV, a standard format that beats the applicant tracking system any day, anytime. And guess what? We teach you how to tailor your CV according to that format. As soon as you're done tailoring your CV, okay, you submit it back to us here at Tenalytics, and our experts are able to take a look at what you have right there on your CV. So you're literally getting a full CV review and revamp. So you submit your CV back to us, and we're able to give you personalized feedback. Or as a nurse, this is the way you want to position as a cybersecurity professional and all of that. And one very important thing to mention is, because of the way you're learning at Tenalytics, by working on experience, by working on projects, right? You are able to have Tenalytics as your work experience on your CV, right? Imagine coming from a place of no knowledge. You literally did not have any experience in cybersecurity. And in 6 months, you've gained the skills, you have a portfolio that you can showcase to recruiters, and you also have work experience. Remember, recruiters want to see that you've done it before. So because of the way you're learning right here at Tenalytics, you are able to have on your CV that you've worked for Tenalytics as a consultant or a contractor. And that you can defend any day, anytime, because of how you've learned by gaining experience. You worked on those projects yourself. So what we've done to that effect is to provide you with a job description that summarizes all the projects you've worked on and their impact. And you have them right there on your CV. Now, if a recruiter wakes you up any day, anytime, you can defend them because you worked on those projects. So that is what we've been able to achieve with the CV review and revamp. You have right there on your CV that you have a cybersecurity experience already. And that is because of how you've learned. You see why your learning journey has to be very, very strategic, right? Now, after your CV review and revamp, we have what is called the LinkedIn optimization session. In the tech space, you have to toot your horn. You literally have to show recruiters. Okay? And here at Tenalytics, if we're looking to fill up roles sometimes, we go right there on LinkedIn and we just search. There are certain profiles that will pop up, we take a look at them, and we shoot them a message. Now, this is the exact same way that people here at Tenalytics, participants, have been able to get jobs through LinkedIn because of how they've been able to position themselves on LinkedIn. You say you're a cybersecurity professional, but on LinkedIn, there's nothing to show for it. So what we've been able to do is to ensure that your LinkedIn profile is properly optimized. Okay, so you have the right keywords that should be there, such that if a recruiter is looking to fill up a cybersecurity role in your location, they can go right there on LinkedIn, search, and your name will appear amongst the top searches. That is because your profile is well optimized and it carries the right keywords. So this is what we've been able to achieve with the LinkedIn optimization. Then, of course, we have what is called navigating the job market. You are here to get a job. So you have to understand, we have to teach you how to apply for jobs. Remember, all of this is geared towards ensuring that you stand out as somebody, looking to get into cybersecurity. If you pick up your device and you go on LinkedIn and search for SOC analyst or cybersecurity professional, you see tons and tons of them. But in reality, not everybody has a job as a cybersecurity professional. So how do you stand out? Okay, so what we've been able to do with navigating the job market is teach you how to apply to jobs. And then we've also, been able to subscribe to premium job boards across the major economies. So apart from the traditional job boards you have access to, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Read.co, and the likes, we've paid for other premium roles. Now, you don't have to pay for them because we already paid for them. We've done the heavy lifting. So all you have to do is just apply. We've taught you how to apply. Remember, your CV, well optimized. Your LinkedIn, everything is right on point. We've taught you how to apply for jobs, and we've also provided you with these roles, remote roles, contract-based roles, visa sponsorship roles, and the likes. Right? So you are able to just apply for premium roles. And then, of course, we have interview preparation. You see how all of this is just very intentional. From being an absolute beginner to having a portfolio that will showcase your project, to having a CV that would stand out, to having a properly optimized LinkedIn profile, to being taught how to apply to jobs. And then when you have an interview coming up, you have a company that you can fall back to. I mean, I'm just starting out. I'm a nurse. I have an interview coming up as a SOC analyst. All you have to do is book for a prep session here at Tenalytics, an interview preparation session. If you have 20 interviews, don't bother. Book for 20 prep sessions. And you'd have somebody there prepping you on these interviews and ensuring that you gain the confidence, you get the questions that you just anticipate the questions that you're likely going to be asked, and you're well prepared for them. Right? So this is what we've been able to achieve with the interview preparation. Then, of course, job reference letter. Remember that on your CV, you have that you worked for Tenalytics as a cybersecurity consultant or a contractor. Recruiters will definitely reach back to us to provide recommendation letter. So, of course, we have that covered. Right? We're able to tell compelling stories about you, your personality, your skills, your working style, and every single thing while you were here at Tenalytics. Then, of course, on the job support. So it's a new terrain for you. You eventually landed a job as a cybersecurity professional. Right? And you get a task and you absolutely don't have any idea of how to go about it. So you still have Tenalytics, that is willing to support you on the job. Now, a lot of our students don't usually come back for this because of the way they're learning while they're here at Tenalytics. I mean, 6 months of immersive and intentional learning. But we still have this handy, just in case you need it. Then weekly mentorship sessions. So on a weekly basis, you have, people that have gotten jobs coming back to you to talk you through their experience. You're being taught how to do salary negotiation, how to introduce yourself, and all of that. You get global recruiters, you get the co-founders of Tenalytics. You basically get weekly mentorship. Tell me how you don't see yourself getting a job, after going through the cybersecurity program. Then, of course, Upwork optimization. So Upwork is a freelance platform. If you're looking to get a quick gig, we also teach you how you can optimize your Upwork profile and get that. So all of this, coupled with the technical skills, would land you that job that you desire. Imagine you getting the technical skills without any of this. How do you showcase your experience? How do you get a company to, sending a recommendation letter for you and all of that? Who preps you for interview? So you can see how the technical skills combined with the employability skills would ensure that you stand out, and you can only get this here at Tenalytics. And guess what? You have a lifetime access to all of this. right? You have a lifetime access to your learning resources. It doesn't matter. Say that you complete your training in 2026 and you get a job. In 2028, you're looking to get another job. You can come back for interview preparation, right? So it's more like signing up with analytics for a lifetime. Okay, so this is basically how you stand out by gaining the, technical skills and the employability skills. So I've also been able to explain the program duration and timeline. The entire program is for 8 months. Now, your 6 months of learning will be done with Tenalytics. Tenalytics is a company registered in Canada, right? Your 2-month internship will be done with a company called Amdari. Amdari is a company registered in London, UK. And guess what? You have the opportunity of having both Tenalytics and Amdari as your work experience. And both companies will be able to provide you with recommendation letter. So for those of us in Canada that would come across recruiters that are big on Canadian experience, by virtue of having Tenalytics on your CV, that is covered. Right? For those of us in UK that have recruiters that are big on UK-based experience, by virtue of having Amdari there, right on your CV, that is covered. Right? Imagine you starting out as a complete beginner and you have 2 work experiences already that you can confidently speak to because of how you've learned. Right? So this is what you get here at Tenalytics. Right? So now you've heard all the juicy part, the technical skills, the key areas that you need to learn and all of that. And also something to mention, right? Now, remember that the cybersecurity program here at Tenalytics will be giving you SOC analysis, pen testing or ethical hacking, and GRC. Now, what happens in your internship is after you successfully gone through the 6 months of learning, you're able to figure that, oh, I really don't like technicalities all that much. I want to stick to GRC. So during your internship, you're able to niche down on that, work on projects in the GRC space. Right? If you figure that you want to double down or niche down on ethical hacking, you have projects in that regard. This is what you get in your internship. Okay, so what are the next steps? Right now, it is not just enough to hear all these beautiful things and then start anticipating both the technical skills, employability skills, how Tenalytics would help you stand out. Basically, what do you want to do? What do you need to do, to get into the cybersecurity space in 2025? Remember that currently there's a huge demand for cybersecurity professionals. So what are the next steps for you? Right? So here at Tenalytics, we have a class that is starting on the 8th of November. That is just a couple of weeks away, right? And this is when our next cohort is starting. And you want to join this cohort, the earlier, the better. For some of us, starting this year, at the beginning of this year, one of our goals would have been, I want to transition into tech. Now is the best time. Right? So that by March, April, you already have a portfolio. You already have, you're applying to those jobs and all of that. So we have a class that is starting on the 8th of November. Okay? And then, of course, you have to register for this class. Now, the first 20 people right here on this call that would register today, will participate in an exclusive session on how to get the Tech Nation endorsement and apply for the Global Talent Visa. This is just open for the first 20 people that want to register today. Okay, so what would it cost you to register for a class that is starting in November? Now, the cost of the training here at Tenalytics is $1,000. $1,000 for all the lifetime access, for all the goodies you'll be getting. But guess what? We have a discount ongoing, a 25% discount. Now, you don't have to worry about paying that $1,000 because you're getting $250 off with this 25% discount. So instead of paying $1,000, all that is needed of you is $750. That is all you need to get started. You want to kickstart your cybersecurity professional, you want to kickstart your cybersecurity journey and all of that. All that is required of you is $750. And to the most interesting part that I love, you see that $750, you don't have to worry about paying the entire thing at once, because you can split that into as many as 5 times. This is what is called the installment plan. We have the 5 monthly installments. So you split $750 into 5, and you get to pay $150 every month. Right? And you're expected to complete that in 5 months. Imagine you're doing 6 months of learning, 2 months of internship, 8 months in total, right? But by the 5th month, you're still paying for what you're literally seeing what you're paying for. All the benefits, you still have access to interview prep and all of that. So you can split the $750 into as many as 5 times, right? So what I want to do right now is to walk you through how you can go about making payments. Okay, so my colleague has shared the link to the payment platform right there in the chat. Okay, now I know that Vincent sent me a message, about the payment. So I want to walk you through how you can go about making payments right now. So what you want to do, Vincent and every other person on the call, is to just click on the link that my colleague has shared and, take a look at my screen for a minute. Right? So as soon as you click on the link that has been shared, just scroll down. This is what you see. Right? Scroll down in search of cybersecurity. So you see the cybersecurity program, click on buy now. Right? As soon as you click on buy now, to the right, you get to see this small box here, and you see enroll now. So you open the link, first of all, you scroll down, you look for cybersecurity, and you click on buy now. As soon as you're done clicking on buy now, right on here, when this opens up, you click on enroll now. When you're done clicking on enroll now, this pops up to you, right? And then you get to decide how you want to pay and when you want to start. Remember, I said we have a class starting on the 8th of November, right? We also have another class, which will be our final class for the year, starting on the 6th of December. So if you want to start in November, you can register now. The 25% discount applies to you. If you want to start in December, the 25% discount applies to you as well, right? So I'm going to click on November, and I'm going to click on scroll down. So like I told you, instead of paying $1,000, you get to pay $750, and you can split that into as many as 5 times, such that all you need is $150 monthly. Then we have the 4 monthly installments. With the 4 monthly installments, all you will need is split that $750 into 4. So you get to pay in 4 months, and you get started with $187.05. Then if you want to go for the 3 installments, you split $750 into 3, and you start with $250, right? So for those of us looking to pay twice or once, there's a further discount for you. So if you want to pay twice or once, instead of $750, you get to pay $712. It's just the net present value effect of money. If you want to pay twice or once, you just get to pay less. You get more discounts. So I'll click on the 5 installment because I have $150 to pay every month, and I want to complete my payment in 5 months. And then I'm going to click on apply discount. So the discount applies, so you get to see, okay, you don't need to pay $1,000. It has applied the 25% discount for you, right? And with the 5 installments, you'll be paying or starting with $150. Okay, so as soon as you click on, apply discount, another window will pop up to you. So let's just give this some time to load up. This is currently loading up, and I hope it has loaded up at your end. Okay, so just click on the link that my colleague has shared and follow through. Right? Click on the link my colleague has shared and follow through. Now, I see some questions. I will definitely take your questions as we go, right? But let's just give this some time to load up, right? So as soon as you click on apply discount, this loads up. What you want to do is, scroll down and check both boxes, right? This one that says, I confirm that my information is correct, as well as I've read the Analytics terms and conditions. So scroll down, check both boxes, and click on pay now. So that is all you have to do, right? And then you get to put in your card details and make payments, right? Now, this is it about the 25% discount, but then there's a catch. Now, you see this 25% discount, it is not open to everybody. Okay, we only opened up 20 slots for our cybersecurity program, right? Now, this discount, this 25% discount is called the early bird discount. I mean, you pay $750 instead of $1,000, and then it will be ending on the 19th. But remember, I said it is only open to 20 people. So if we get 20 people to pay today, you get to pay more by tomorrow. So what you want to do is take advantage of this discount while it is still open. If 20 people make payments right now, the discount closes, and then what you now have is the standard discount. So instead of 25%, you get to pay 20%. But why do you want to pay more? When you can pay less. So if you're on this call, ensure that you're taking advantage, of the 25% discount for either the October class or the November class, right? Now, I have some questions. That I would want to answer right there in the chat. If you have questions, just keep them coming. I'll take every single question that you have, right? So I can see Taya saying $750. Right. You see how juicy it is, for a lifetime access to all the resources and all of that. And you're able to split that into as many, as 5 times, right? Very flexible. You're literally saying what you're paying for, right? Choma, absolutely. Installment payment. Glee says, I work on weekends. How can I do it? Now, remember here at Analytics, we are big on flexibility. So every single training here at Analytics is usually recorded. Every training, whether you're working in the morning or in the evening, right? All you have to do is just let your accountability partner know that, oh, I have class, I have work this weekend, and I won't be available. They are called program coordinators. They ensure that you're up to speed. So as soon as you let them know that you won't be available, as soon as the recording of the class is available, they send it to you, right? So that by Monday, when you have time, you can go over, work on your project. Now, it is not just about working on those, because you will have questions. So you always have access to the facilitators, that took the class, so you can ask your questions. You're not lost. You're up to speed. You're working on these projects as soon as you have time. Lee, I hope that answers your question, right? Then Naira, right? You get to see the, payment, the cost of in your local currency. Okay, Vincent says, I work 2 weekends in a month. My concern is I might be at work during some sessions. Yes, absolutely, right? And remember, every single session here at Analytics is recorded. So on the weekends when you're working, just let the data coordinator know, I won't be available this weekend. When the recording is available, they send it to you, and you take your time and go over. It is not just about going over. Remember, you're working on project. So while you're working on these projects, you have access to the instructor, right? The facilitator. You can jump on a call like this if you have technical issues to resolve them. So Josie is asking, do you have an accelerated program instead of 8th month? Or currently we don't have, an accelerated program. What we have is the 8th month learning timeline. But remember, you don't have to wait the entire 8 months before you're able to apply for jobs. First 3-4 months into the training, or 3 months, you've gotten those skills as a SOC analyst, and then you can start applying to jobs, right? Testing your CV, getting prepped for interview, and all of that, right? Then when you get the GRC part, the pen testing part, you are fully grounded, right? So the learning timeline we have here, Jesse, is for 8 months. Okay, so do we have any more questions? Remember, that this discount is only open to 20 persons, looking to take advantage. As soon as we have the 20%, the price goes up. Okay, so as soon as you can, try to secure a slot for November or December. For those of us looking to start in December, what securing a slot does for you is that if there's any increase in price after November, after the start of the November class, it doesn't affect you. You are locked in, with your sellers looking to start. I hope you've been able to go through the payment process, and I hope you've been able to see. It's been a beautiful 2 hours. Taya is asking, can one get a remote job with cybersecurity? Absolutely. Right. You see my colleague that took the session, that is a cybersecurity professional, right? And he's gotten jobs remotely. We have tons and tons of them like that. So yes, you can get a job remotely as a cybersecurity professional. Remember, there are different roles in cybersecurity, right? There are different roles in cybersecurity. So yes, to answer your question, you can definitely get a remote job with cybersecurity, right? So do we have any more questions before we call it a, you know, the technical you need to get registered, right? For either our November class or our December class, right? And ensure that you pay $50 or $712 if you're looking to pay twice or once, right? Nobody on this call should pay more than $750, right? So just secure a slot as soon as you can. So I cannot see questions in the chat. I'll assume that there are no more questions, right? And I will be ending the session shortly, right? I hope you've had a good time so far. If you've had a good time so far, please leave a yes before we call the session to a close. If you had a good time, you know, you enjoyed the practical, you know, you've also enjoyed this other aspect. I talked about the employability skills and getting started, you know, please leave a yes. Do you have an accelerated program instead of 8th month? Just so you know, at the moment, we don't have an accelerated, right? The learning timeline is for 8 months, but I did mention that you don't have to wait the entire 8 months before getting a job, right? Well, we're able to work with you on that, so you don't have to wait A4. So I hope this be close. Thank you so much, everybody. Right. Thank you for your time, your session so far. And I hope to see you in the November classes, and bye for now. If you have any questions, write on the slide, you know, that you will be getting when you fill the attendance form. You see contact numbers that you can reach out to if you have any questions. But I hope to see you come November or December. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, please. Cheers and bye for now. Okay, Chini is asking, would this help me as a student looking for an apprenticeship? So what this will do for you is give you more than apprenticeship, right? It will give you more than apprenticeship. It will be a job, literally, right? To give you the technical skills that you will need to get a job, right, Chini? I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so whether imagine you have the skills needed to get your apprentice, definitely it would help you as a student and for apprenticeship, and it would also help that before. All right, so please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you and bye for now. Cheers. Bye.